welcome everybody to the Watchlist right here on the Latiners Network. We're ready to review all the shows, or at least most of them that get released on streaming over the past week. And of course, at the end of the show, let you know what's coming out so you too can create your very own watch list. A big week coming up, so stay tuned for that. Let me introduce, of course, my co-host who will help us with the recommendations or non-recommendations, as the case may be, is Jaime, Senor Jaime Chewy. What's going on, brother?
Hey brother, how you doing?
The big week. We may or not do a show next week, so we're gonna give you 2 weeks worth of content that's coming out, no doubt. So we'll see. But it's a big week as it is, big couple weeks as it has been the last few weeks. But so let's get into it, dude. And I almost forgot about this because out of 8 people that have MGM Plus, I am not one of those 8. You are.
Well, I mean, if I could just before we get started,
Oh, sure.
obviously we're doing this show with a little bit of heavy heart
Oh,
today.
did you want to say anything, bro?
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I mean, well, at least let the audience know. So we're not my usual chipper self. We lost my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, unexpectedly, shockingly, and so that's why we're be moving things around a little bit. But just want to let everyone know. I put a link to our GoFundMe to help with the services. She was a great person. She was my son's godmother, and she definitely will be missed. So
Yeah, it's
love that.
been
Go out to her.
a little bit of a rocky road and stuff, but we went through it a few months ago. Unfortunately, with our father,
With her,
we
yeah,
have
with
this
our father,
situation.
yeah.
It's nothing, it's another, as they say. But we talked about TV and movies being for whatever it's worth, an escapism, right? Chance to kind of
And yeah,
distract yourself.
it is a distraction and
Yeah,
escape because you can't get away from reality of life, but you can escape for a little bit,
right.
for a
Half an
moment here and a
hour,
moment there.
an hour, it all helps, right? And this is part of the reason why we do this. So whoever's, I'm sure we're not the only ones going through this stuff. Your families, obviously. So listen, it's nice to have these outlets to tune into and all that, and us just letting you know what's coming out. There's a chance for you to escape in a certain show, good or bad. So but yeah, condolences to particularly your family, Chewy, and the wife and the parents. I'm sure that's not easy. That being said, as no easy transition out of that. So we just get into
We
it. Let's
move
talk
on.
about some of
Yeah.
the stuff that hopefully distracted you, good or bad, over the last couple weeks. And before we get to the MGM stuff, actually, we want to start with the movie. Um, Peter and Wendy, sorry, on Disney
Mhm.
Plus was the film released this
Well,
week.
Peter Pan and Wendy.
Peter Pan and Wendy, yeah, same, tomatoes, tomatoes, and Wendy. We were. I wasn't excited about this one because you release a movie on streaming, it raises concerns for me, particularly the last couple of films on Disney Plus have gone straight to them. So this is obviously a retelling, of course. Peter Pan is basically what it is, right? It's a reimagining or whatever the case is. Chewy, your thoughts on this before I jump on this one?
Um. So actually, we all saw this last night as a family. We needed something to just to escape for a little
Sure,
bit and do something together.
obviously. Mm-hmm.
Um. And so I think it's almost I guess akin to the original animated one. At least from a storytelling perspective, I see
Yeah,
some nuances and differences here and there, but the major strokes are there. I thought it was okay. There was nothing special or unique about it. I think it was missing that something. I don't know. There was just something missing from a typical Disney movie that brought you into that fantasy world, right? I mean, it wasn't bad. It was okay. I understand why it went to streaming because I don't think it would have done very well released in the
exactly.
theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But I said I paid for Disney Plus. Was it worth the watch? Yeah, I was entertained for a couple hours, and it was okay. And you know, but it's nothing that you need to go right on and watch. It's, oh yeah, this is the best version of Peter Pan movie we've seen. I still go back to the Robin Williams one
Okay.
as far as nostalgic and yeah, because it was a that was like an extension of the Peter Pan story, right? It wasn't just a retelling of going to
Right.
Neverland. It was like the next step, what happened years later, that kind of made it unique.
Yeah, it lacked sizzle. It lacked the magic, if you will, that a good Disney movie has, right? The normally give you. It's kind of by the numbers. It was okay. It was a little bit dark for a fantasy kind of tale. A little lack of color. It's an interesting choice that they made. I wasn't a big fan of the character Peter Pan himself, the actor. It didn't do it for me at all. I don't know what it was. Wendy was
Mhm.
fine. Yeah, it wasn't terrible, and that's not a ringing endorsement. But yes, this is the concern why it got released on streaming, right? This didn't have the sizzle, the juice it needed to really do well on the
Mhm.
big screen. I don't think it was would have done well at all or what received
Mhm.
for free at home,
Yeah.
whatever, I guess. But for that matter, it's this. If you had Disney Plus, I assume I'm pretty sure they have the original animated one.
Yeah.
If
There
kids
you go.
haven't seen it, that's probably one I would go to instead of this. It's just mediocre at best, right? At the end of the day. So it's like I said, I can't say I'm disappointed because I kind of expected that. So it is what it is. Um, Now, real quick on MGM Plus, like I said, Chewy is one of the 8 subscribers to MGM Plus. A couple of things dropped. The one I'm interested in is because this is the first season or whatever the original I think from was season 2.
Mhm.
But Amityville, the origin story, a docu series based off the house, the haunted house, if you will, back in the '70s, possessed house, how you want to call it. Several movies have been made out of it. Um, Chewy, what are your thoughts on this one? I'm kind of curious about this one as a horror fan.
Um. Well, it's a documentary, so it's not
Right,
meant to
right.
be
I mean, it's not a
a
horror show,
horror
obviously.
show. And I think in the first episode they kind of allude to this because they tied into the movie that was made of the events, but they kind of say in the document itself, the real tragedy was the original murder in that house, that murder where the son killed essentially his whole family in the
Right.
house, and that's the real tragedy. So, but they kind of the movie and the story, people just gloss over that and they just focus on the horror or supposed horror that happened. Poltergeist, ghosts, supernatural, whatever you want to call it, that happened subsequently. So it's fairly dry in the
Okay.
material and the storytelling. I guess it lacks a little sizzle, but I don't know how you add sizzle to this, right? It's kind of telling what happened with this
I
family and
mean, you
what they
can
went
add
through.
sizzle to it.
Yeah,
There's some documentaries that have that pop and all that, even with dry material. You can. It's doable. We've seen it, and
yeah, yeah.
again, it's
So
get harder, easier said than done. But
yeah, but I mean, if you're interested in the story, watch it. If you're not, if you care less, probably one you could pass. It just depends on what you're interested in knowing more about this family, what happened, what actually transpired at this house post that murder.
interesting. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't sound like something I'll have to rush. I mean, like I said, I need to get the 7-day trial. I got to finish Godfather Harlem, which everyone should be watching. It's
Yeah,
all the 7 people. If you're one of those, Godfather Harlem. For me, I guess.
I mean, up
And
with
there's
you.
other
So,
shows, of course, but yeah.
me personally, I would not have bought a house that had such a gruesome murder in it to begin with.
Maybe they were unaware of the
Uh,
murder that was not disclosed by the realtor.
different era, different time, but that's just me. And it
Okay.
wasn't just like husband wife murder type of situation. This is
Oh, listen, I
a
get it.
son just went whatever ballistic and killed his entire family,
You got
and
no
it
one to
was
blame but
just
yourself if you buy a house and some
yeah,
shit like that happens. That's all I'm saying. That
yeah.
creaking the floors and who's out there goes. But again, I don't know if the realtor laws now. I think you have to disclose. Maybe you don't. I don't know.
No, yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
don't even know anymore. Beyond, I know there's a
by
time you have
by
to
by
disclose.
law, everything that happens, good or bad, you have to disclose. But
Right, right. But again, though, this was
I mean,
different times, different
yeah.
times. So whatever. But yeah. So the way. So all right, fair enough. The next one,
I mean,
HBO.
but I will say they got a hell of a deal in the house, man.
Well, for some time I
I just,
had, they should
I just say this.
they just should have flipped it. So next HBO Max. I'm sorry, Max.
Yeah,
Whatever they're
the
calling themselves.
max.
Love and Death. It's a limited series starring Elizabeth Olsen. Of course, not Black Widow. Scarlet Witch from the
Yeah.
MCU, whatever. So this one is a true telling. A story took place in the '70s. I was not really familiar with it, but
78,
apparently,
79, 80, or
yes,
that,
in
yeah,
that
that
'80
time.
exactly, where some small town, very church-going community,
In
and I
Texas, of
guess
course.
there's a woman who approaches a friend's husband about having an affair. They have this relationship for almost a year, whatever the case is, and then apparently she ends up killing his wife, and she's being accused, and investigation, and yada yada yada, on that one. So not an original story per se. Um, but that being said, this one was okay. You know, I expect more from HBO. It was incredibly slow moving, and when you
Yeah,
have
for 3 episodes, yeah, man, it
yeah,
went way too slow.
yeah, wait, there's 3 episodes thus far. I assume 8 will be the total count, and they're about an hour, like literally an hour long,
Mhm.
not like 40 some minutes. Like I think the show probably would have been better that way. But it's not. Elizabeth Olsen is great in it, but man, it's just taking it's really taking its time. Like for a show about a wife who well, a woman who kills up a wife, we haven't even gotten to that point yet. And it's been 3 episodes, and it's like
Well, we get to the right at the end of
kind
episode
of
three.
right.
Well, no, we do. I mean,
Well,
because I
it's
mean,
you
everything up to this point
right. You can make
is
the
all
assumption that the
backstory.
next
It's all
episode, yeah,
backstory.
we're gonna get there,
Yes,
but it should be quicker, or it should have started with that and then kind of gone
and
back and
then
told the story,
flashback or something. Yeah.
But yeah, it just it takes a long time. That her developing their relationship with the guys from Breaking Bad. I forget his name. It's just slow. It's not terrible, but it's very slow moving, and it's really taking its time. Too much time. I'll probably keep watching it because I'm 3 episodes in. I'll see, but if this continues, I may be out because it's not like an incredible original story to begin with. It's about the execution. I don't know. At HBO, I'm kind of a little bit let down. Chew your thoughts.
No, I agree wholeheartedly that this took too long to get to the meat and potatoes of the events, right? I think they spent too much time on the backstory of the family, the affair, the whole church community, the friends. I mean, and I don't know how accurate this story is and what they portray. I could see how they're painting her in a very positive light, right? Where the whole
Sure,
going through
initially,
the
but
fair, they didn't want to do it, the steps, just be careful, blah blah blah. She wanted different. I mean, and the way they end that third episode, right? Which that part is probably it's more he said she said because no one was there,
sure,
right?
sure.
Where I'm gonna spoil it because whatever, man. I mean, we gotta talk
It's a
about it.
true story. Sure.
Yeah. The wife that who was cheated on. The end of the episode with her coming in back to the house with an axe once she finds out that her friend had an affair with her husband, and so that already is always setting up self defense right there. I mean,
Right, right.
right there. And whatever happens, they've already laid the groundwork. That's the spin they're putting on. True or not, I don't know, and I don't care enough to dig deep to go back to dig into the history, because it's just not interesting enough for me to do that. Right? It's not historical in any sense of the
No,
word.
right. It's yeah.
Uh,
It's kind of a letdown. I was looking forward to this one. Actually, to be honest with you, I really
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
HBO Thursday slot. They've done good shows in that slot before. It's usually Sunday, Thursday, and Monday. It's usually like their slots most of the time.
well, I mean, but
Mostly
the
Sundays.
marquee is a Sunday, Monday, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
Sunday's just the day for them. But
yeah.
they've used other days to promote the shows. Yeah, I guess it's disappointing. I'm probably not recommending it, to be honest with you. It's just there's much better stuff on TV, and like I said, it's not a terrible show. It's just one that's prolonged. One episode should have set it up, and then just got right into it.
Yes,
At the
exactly.
end of the day, it was
Yeah.
just way too much. So disappointing with that.
Maybe two if you want to give some backstory on the
I
character,
guess
but
so.
three was
Yes,
way too long.
exactly, and they could again work in the narrative where they're kind of going back and time jumping between
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
what
absolutely.
happened and then what led up to that event. So that would have been more interesting. But it is what it is. So yeah, kind of a little bit of miss on HBO. It happens. No one's perfect. This next one here, and I forgot the graphic for the actual show, but it took a Saint X. The
Mm.
show's on Hulu. Another, well, not a true story. I take it back. But another kind of murder mystery kind of show. We got take multiple timelines, but in the timeline where there's a family, there's a teenage girl going to college. I believe parents are well off. They're out in the Caribbean somewhere having a good time, and she ends up gone missing and then found dead a little bit afterwards. And now it focuses on that, and now her little sister, the time jumping to when she's older and discovers an
Mm.
individual who may have knowledge of what happened to her sister at that time, focusing on the parents and the aftermath of when the sister went missing, etc., etc. Um, Chu, I'll let you take lead on this one as far as what you thought about this. You dropped 3 episodes on Hulu.
This was much better than the Love and Death by far. And it's it's a little tropey as far as the story itself, as far as the murder mystery but I think the storytelling is unique where there's a big time jump. I mean, the sister was very young when this
It's about
happened,
20
and so
years.
this
Yeah, from when the
Yeah, so
incident occurred. Yeah.
it's a significant jump between the events of the murder and where the story picks up, right? So, and when you deal with that kind of big time jumps, memory kind of plays tricks on you, right? It's just people misremember things all the time.
Hmm.
Witnesses misremember things all the
Of course.
time. It's human physiology, psychology. It happens. It's fact. Um, but so that kind of maybe plays into a little bit of storytelling, her trying to find out what happened because as a little girl, what you remember may not be as accurate as what actually transpired. But it is a better mystery than what we saw with Love and Death in a way. It can not the greatest of shows, like I said, very tropey in some of the elements that they use. But I'm comparing apples to apples, and I'd rather watch the Saint X versus the Love and Death.
I mean, if I'm comparing it, agreed. But I may be on this show too. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me this week. I don't know. But I was kind of bored with this one. I mean, because I read about the story, right? I guess it's based off a book, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, like I said, it reminds me so much of that murder in Aruba,
It
all
really
those
does,
years
and I'm
ago.
sure maybe there's something taken
It
from
has
there,
to. There's
inspired
just too
by
much,
true events. But
at a
whatever. Yeah.
resort,
Mhm.
young woman goes missing. There's several guys accused, and it was just a big brouhaha because there was a lot of cover-ups and stuff going on, and
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people were well off and trying to pay people off. I don't know if they even caught the guy eventually, if they ever solved that. I can't
I don't remember, to
remember
be honest
what
with you. But
transpired.
yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
when. I don't remember when the book was written, or I didn't
Hmm.
read when it was before or after that event. Nonetheless, the book, and I read about the book, and they really touched on, because I guess a couple of the accused individuals were from the island, right? They were black, and I guess they were, and the parents were white rich, and they kind of instantly, went after them because of, the race, and then touched a lot on that and how quick they were to try to get justice against these guys without due process and whatever the case is. And things like that, which is more interesting than what we're getting now, I think. They kind of start even time jumping before focusing on the two guys who work for the resort as
Hmm.
kids, and again, it's just unnecessary. It's like, why are we talking about them like that? We put the focus back on the girl, the parents, or what, or the mystery itself about them is irrelevant, at least to this point. Odd choices, a lot of characters to focus on, some of the guests, and I don't know why. I don't know. It's a little place for me. It's better than Love and Death, no doubt. But I don't know. I was just like, oh my god, what's going on? I'm bored. I was really bored. It is what it is. I'm not recommending either one. But if you had to choose one, you want a murder mystery, yeah, I would choose this over Love and Death, no doubt about
Yes,
that. But yeah, I was
by
just,
far.
yeah, that I don't have a problem.
But it's not
I'm
great. I
yeah.
mean, crap. It's compare. I was just comparing it for
No, no,
this
no,
week.
right, right. But
The two that we
this one was
saw.
better. This
Yeah,
one, they
yeah,
at least got to the mystery, like, by this, first episode or
yeah.
whatever. It's like, oh, so
Quickly, yes.
right, okay, fine, fair. And again, what do we say, right? Then going back and forth, and that's the way you should tell this kind of story.
Mhm.
Otherwise, this doesn't work. Um, Sweet Tooth season 2 on Netflix. I know you were more of a fan of the first season than I was. I thought it was okay. There was a young kid who's half human, half deer, whatever the case is, in a
A
post-apocalyptic
hybrid.
world. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, hybrid,
a
right? Well, yeah,
hybrid.
a mix. Yeah, so it's a post-apocalyptic world. It's discovering the new world and what happened, et cetera, et cetera. It's being chased and being protected. That kind of thing. Very fantasy-esque show, geared for a younger audience for the most part. At least it's family friendly. Season 2, well, I think it's a little better. It's better than season 1. And it's a good, solid show. It was solid before. I enjoyed season 1. It was fine. It was okay. It did enough for me to put up with second season. I was like, okay, fine, and it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's well made. I know this has a big fan base, which is why we get a season 2 to begin with. I like Chewies, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a cool show. It's a good fantasy show. It's a good family show. These kind of shows don't come up all the time. That's non-Disney, and because it's non-Disney, it's a little bit better. They're more realistic in the portrayal of the kids. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Chewy, your thoughts?
No, man, I agree. I think season two is turned out to be a lot better than season one. Not that
Yeah.
season one was bad.
No, no, it
Like I
wasn't.
said,
It was
I
fine.
enjoyed it. It was
For me, it was
renewed,
fine.
and I really liked it. But I think this is giving me more of what I want on giving us that world building. Right, they're
Yes, thank you.
expanding on the
Mhm.
communities, the free cities. There's this military guy. What's going on with the people who have survived this pandemic, however it was caused. We're getting a lot more deep dive into how this may have all started, where how it all created, especially with Sweet Tooth and some of the other hybrid children that are around, because it's a big group of them. that were found, like it's at the end of season one, if I'm not mistaken, some related to some of the characters that we're talking to. And obviously the doctor who was involved, who will get a lot more backstory and a lot more of what's going on with her and where she's at and how this is all tied together. It's kind of covered very slowly, and it's keeping me engaged, and I really like where this is going.
Yeah. No, like I said, they did a better job with this one. You know, if it's definitely flowing more than the first one did. So yeah, this one I can now officially say, okay, you know what, I'll recommend to go back and watch the first season, and onto the second season. So I really enjoyed it. And it's funny because Sweet Tooth, it's fun because I think there was no real big story in TV. It was, CinemaCon was going on in Vegas, so the big focus was movies. But we did get a trailer for Twisted Metal, starring Anthony Mackie
A teaser,
on Peacock.
teaser.
Well, a teaser, for, of course, based off the video game for the 10 people who may know that game because this was a long time ago. But Sweet Tooth was one of the main characters, and he's like a killer clown in that. But so it kind of made me think of that. We also got a trailer for Black Mirror, which surprised me. I don't know if you
Hmm.
saw that, Chewy, for season
In June, yes,
in June. It looks pretty good. I'm
teaser.
a big fan of
June,
that.
yeah, there's no like it's sometime in June. That's all we
Yeah, that's
know.
what I'm telling you. Yeah, the last season was not good, but I've enjoyed the previous episodes and all that, so that's kind of interesting to see. Neither here nor there. Let's get on to the next one. King of Collectibles. This reality show based off the Golden Company, which is a broker, if you will. Or, they work
Auction house,
the auction house.
breakage,
There you go.
consignment.
They
Yeah.
have consignments with people who have they're focusing big on the sports memorabilia, but they're branching out to music and compute like old computers. That there's one episode they're
Hmm.
talking about some guy owned like
The original
all
Apple
the Apple
one.
computers from the beginning. Yes, they try to get to cosign so they can sell that stuff on auction, get their commission. Produced by Peyton Manning, his company, and who also shows up in an episode here. Very funny scene, by the way. I mean, his brother. I know Mike Tyson's coming up. I haven't seen that one yet. We got Drake showing
Yeah.
up. A couple other famous
No,
individuals. Ric
no, no.
Flair. I'm waiting for the Ric Flair one to come
Yeah.
out.
There's definitely a lot of cameos and celebrities and parties because it's real life, right? I mean, it's funny how the Peyton Manning came up with the conversation here in Feather who had the more valuable card, trading card, right?
Yeah. Little competition.
Yeah.
And Golden, who's friends with Peyton Manning. He's trying to be nice and say, well, listen, your brother won in New York. It's a bigger deal. The Colts, nobody cares. Trying to kind of put him on ease. You want to obviously, keep him happy because he brings in some of the cash and keeps the lights on. But it's actually interesting, more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just more about them just collecting the stuff or about the actual stuff, but it is more about them turning that around, trying to make money in the auction, trying to get people to bid on it, and the situation with the Jackie Robinson jersey and the guy who gave it to him wanted had a reserve for a certain amount, had to sell, otherwise no deal, which will cost them, I think, over $1 million in commission or maybe more. I think like 20% of whatever the
Yeah,
sales are. Yeah,
they get a hefty percentage.
yeah,
I was like,
20%. I'm like, I'm not selling to you guys.
damn,
You better make more money.
what the heck, man? Just
Yeah,
go on eBay, man.
for
Take some
real.
twenty
Look, if you have
percent call it a day.
a signed Babe Ruth card, man, or a baseball, I'm sure you can put it on eBay and make just as much. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, these guys, but it's not just to put on auction. They do a lot of the promoting behind it. They got like some kind of
No, they got
a web
the
show
YouTube
that promotes it.
channels, the
Yeah,
web shows, the social media. There's a lot going behind it, right? And
right.
now they got a big warehouse of items and stuff that's they're
True.
constantly selling.
And,
But
and, and he
this is
knows
the
the
type of business where you got to constantly bring new stuff. It's not.
right
It's kind of like QVC, right? You got to have something new all the time,
all
every
the
day,
time.
24/7.
Yeah, which is why they're branching out. So some employees out there trying to get this. It's actually a funny scene. I'll say this one where the guys went to some guy's house and he had like all these signed baseballs and everything, all this
Beautiful
memorabilia.
collection of
Incredible
his
collection. Oh, yeah.
best part was having the 500 home run, or having the same baseball from all people who hit 500 home
Oh,
runs.
500
So
home
he's got
runs,
a
right? Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
talk about an amazing collection. That's
yes.
man, amazing. And then
And
so
he
the two
comes
guys
out
get there
with
hoping, they're hoping they're gonna grab one of
he
these
gets the
things to
baseballs,
auction
get the
off.
footballs, the
Yeah.
jersey. No, he comes out with a beanie baby
Yeah,
collection. I was like,
I'm told a Beanie
Jesus
Mason. I want you guys to
Christ.
sell this, and I just look in their face, and I'm like, oh my god! And they do it gladly, because in hopes that they could reel him in to sell their
Yeah,
other good shit.
it's the good
Um,
stuff.
but it's a funny show. It's an interesting show. I enjoyed it. It's got because this guy, I get why you use him, because again he has connections too. He knows all the high rollers and stuff, so he'll call them up to bid on these things. So it makes it worth it in for the 20%. So, but it was actually a cool show. It was short, 30 minutes, like maybe four in. So it's fun, it's interesting, and much more interesting than I thought it was going to be. So I'm definitely recommending this one as a cool little watch, cool reality show. It's
Absolutely,
in the vein of like
absolutely,
the
it's fun.
what's like Garage, the Storage Wars, or something along like that. I guess.
No, no,
I
no.
guess
And
if I'm
but
gonna
it's
compare it.
the thing what I like about this is that they're focusing on all things.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't expect to see Beanie Babies
Yeah,
in the
and yeah,
show,
they brought
like
in a
and it,
doctor, doctor whoever her name is, who
or an
actually
expert,
analyzes it, make
whatever.
sure it's the right shape and form, whatever. Yeah,
I was like,
it's a
okay,
fucking
sure, be
it's
it,
a Beanie Baby.
I'm waiting for the Funko expert to show
Yeah,
up to see
the
what I got.
Funko, I know. But they had one with like Jimi Hendrix. They had like Jim Morrison's original license, and
Yeah.
the fact
hmm
that someone has this
I mean,
incredible. Yeah,
everything, letters.
yeah.
I mean, it's not just sportsman, really. I mean,
No,
it's
they're
anything
branching out.
collective. Like I
Yeah,
mentioned before,
like I
right?
think
The,
Michael
the, the,
Jackson's.
the Apple Computer
Yeah,
guys were like the original Apple one. One of the original Apple ones was like, holy, it was basically a TV with the keyboard and the motherboard and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
Jesus
There's one with
Christ,
the
man.
original. It's funny because one of them got called about. Oh, they have the original Apple Watch, the first one.
Mm.
Initially, like, well, that's not too big a deal, but we went to go check it out, and it wasn't the original Apple Watch. And then she didn't know it was actually some watch by Seiko, um, from back in the '80s, which you put on, which and you has a floppy disk. And they didn't know how to pronounce floppy, but it comes with a little card and it connects to the computer, so you can transmit information, send messages on. So it's technically the first watch like of that kind, and it was used in NASA and space and all that. So they're like, oh, now we're talking the original case and also fascinating stuff people collect. It's pretty cool. So I really enjoy the show. It's kind of a fun show, and it's really short and fast and well paced.
Mm.
This last one, this was the big one of the week. This was Citadel on Amazon Prime, releasing 2 episodes. I believe there's going to be 6, so it's kind of short.
Mm. Oh, it's only six.
That's
Oh,
what that's
wow.
my
Okay.
understanding. I think when I read up on it, and I got a chance to see this on Tuesday last week on the big screen. They dropped the first 2 episodes. Had the review up early. This will show the Citadel is basically an organization much like MI6 and the CIA, kind of even above them, secret organization. They believe to be a myth.
More of an independent
Right, independent,
organization, I
right? They're
would
not tied
say.
to anybody, and they're kind of like legendary, like a myth, right? Do they exist or not? We got, of course, Rob Stark. I've had his name, Richard Madden. There we go. So he's one of the agents, along with Priyanka Jonas, who's the other agent. They're going on this mission, and they,
Stanley Tucci, who's the handler,
yeah,
I guess.
Stanley Tucci, who's always great. The organization gets compromised. They get wiped out, and Madden's character and Jonas' character believed to be dead. 8 years pass, and now each wake up, well, each are there, but they have no memory. It's been erased or amnesia, whatever the case is, and they get brought back into the fold as they discover that their secrets of Citadel is about to be exposed by the organization who got rid of them in the first place. So Chewy, I'll start with you since my thoughts are known on this one. Your thoughts on
Well, I
Citadel?
mean, I didn't see your review. I wanted to get a clean,
Sure.
unbiased view of the show. I actually like it, man. Um, so we get situations where we think the episodes are too short and too long. We discuss it should be shorter, should be longer. Both these episodes, I think, were just about 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Um,
it's about
yeah,
38 and 39 when you take away the credits and
yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
which is a little surprising for me because I didn't expect these to be that short.
Yeah.
This is we're entering Mandalorian territory, even though they say 30, it's more like 29, but whatever.
Sure.
Um,
But you're right. It is short, surprisingly short. Yeah.
yes, but it gets to the point. I mean, so there's not a whole time wasted on screen with it telling the story and getting to the action. The action is outstanding. I mean, that whole initial train fight shootout
Yeah, the
scene,
opening
two of them,
sequence
right?
is
We had
pretty
one in the
cool. Yeah.
bathroom. Yeah, we had in the bathroom, and then the big one inside
One of
the dining
yeah.
car, right? And that was like, wow, okay, this is good action. Man, looks great. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's an interesting story. Does it do anything new for the spy thriller genre? No, but do I care? No. Do I watch Bond every time a movie comes out? Yeah. Do I expect anything new in it? No. Maybe a new Bond, but that's about it. But this does a great job of keeping entertained. Great action. It's short, sweet, and to the point. That's why I'm surprised that it's only 6 episodes. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah, that's
Because
quite rare. Maybe 8 at
you
best,
could
but yeah.
probably treat this as a maybe a very long movie just broken out into
Sure.
6 parts. And I think that's the point, right? This is supposed to be an action show, and that's exactly what they're giving you.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's again nothing new to the table, right? But if you're gonna bring it same old, executed accordingly, right?
Hmm
At the end of the day, and so yeah, it's very tropey. Yeah, we're gonna our secret organization. There's another secret organization. There's nuclear codes. We've seen it 1,000 times, right? Mission Impossible, Bond, whatever, right? I get it, right? Even the whole amnesia thing is not new to this kind of genre, right? But with all that being said, it's a fun, enjoyable show. It's very well paced and it's fast. I mean, the first episode was like
Mm.
scene, scene,
Boom.
scene, scene. The pace
Mm.
almost too fast. I would prefer a little less marinate some of the stuff more, but I'd rather be too fast and too slow, right? See Love and
Mm.
Death. But it's well done. I like Richard Madden. He's good. I could, seeing a show like this, thinking, man, as he always talks about him being Bond or whatever, at least the rumor mill or fans wanting to see him. And yeah, I get it. I could see that. At first, I was like, I don't know, he's kind of short, but no, he does pretty well. I could see him being Bond completely. Um, Second episode was good. I had some things that really irked me on that. Not enough to deter from the show, but there's this one scene, like kind of heist kind of scene, with the setup in the second episode. Um,
Oh, I see what you said. They went through that too fast.
Thank
But
you. Yeah, and it goes to it's like wait
yes.
already, and it's supposed to be like this high security building, and then he just walks in and out like, well, where's the security? It was really weird. It was
Well,
awkward.
but on the flip side, he did say it wasn't going to be that hard to get, at least for him to get
I guess,
in
but for,
and
for
get
yeah,
out.
for the drama, the viewer,
So,
you want to build that up a little bit more than what they did. Not the worst thing, but it was odd. And then the decision where they left someone alive, which they should have killed. I just don't understand. You know,
oh, but they always do that.
I
Yeah.
this I don't want to spoil. Well, I'll spoil it a little bit. But one of the Priyanka characters, she gets her memory back. So she's a spy. She knows the deal, and her killing someone is par for the course. And
It's routine. Yeah, that's
yeah,
part of
and
it.
they get
Yeah.
attacked by someone, and they just leave him alive. Who's gonna come back? That was odd. I was like, I didn't understand that. And he was knocked out. He could have just been shot. And they had a gun. It's like they didn't have a gun. It was odd.
Mm.
Just stuff like that kind of bothered me. I'm hoping that's just like one-offs for the episode. But that being said, it was cool, man. It's a fun show. I really enjoyed it. You like the spy stuff? Yeah. Again, don't expect nothing out of the ordinary. But if you like Bomb, Mission Impossible, I mean, this ain't that, right? At least maybe some of the Bonds that all haven't been good. But it's a good, entertaining show. I'm definitely gonna watch it. My wife and I will be rewatching with her because I figured she liked it and she did. Her kind of show very fast paced and simple and all that. So yeah, it's fun. And then Stanley Tucci's, I love Stanley Tucci, man. Come on, dude. He reads a dictionary. I'm all in. So I enjoyed that one. So that's probably my biggest recommend for the week is that one. No, it's not Love and Death. So that being said, we're gonna give you 2 weeks of releases. We may do a show next week, but in case we don't, at least you have what's coming out. We're definitely back in 2 weeks, but let's just lay all the groundwork here for you guys. The first one, HBO Max, starting on Monday, is one of the Monday releases. Perry Mason just ended, which was okay, solid. Now with
Yeah.
White House Plumbers taking his place, we got Woody Harrelson, another guy who I really enjoy and all that. Speaking of White Man Can't Jump, we had a little conversation on text with the new Abomination trailer that got released. This one obviously focusing on true events about the Watergate, Nixon, etc., etc. Looks interesting. Hope it's better on 11 Death. I keep harping on that. On the 4th, I believe is on Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I'm sorry, Thursday.
No, Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday. Um, oh my god, I forgot the name of the show, the sumo wrestler, because I couldn't find the English post.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, thank you.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. So this is a drama on Netflix, I believe Japanese show, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
and focusing on a young man who's trying to get into the world of sumo wrestling. So it's kind of interesting. There's a reporter kind of following along with it. It looks cool because it's a world that we're unfamiliar with. You think sumo wrestlers, you just think of fat guys, and I know there's more than that. It's a culture, it's the sumo culture, right? Let's be honest. So that's kind of fascinating. It looks very interesting. That comes out on the 4th. Same day, we got a couple of things, which is weird. It's a Thursday releases, and for Disney, usually it's Wednesday, so it's kind of odd to get them on Thursday, unless I'm getting my dates wrong here. But no, I think it's the 4th and Thursday.
No.
We got Tales of the Jedi, and along with that, we're getting Star Wars Visions. Second seasons on each. It's an animated show, short stories kind of thing. The first seasons of each one were okay. They're probably like 15, 20. They're usually short, 5, 10 minutes.
These are
Yeah,
shorts.
15.
Yeah.
They're very short and animated shorts and anthology style show. So whatever for Star Wars fans out there, and I'll probably give it a gander. Silo on Friday is one I'm looking forward to. Apple Plus. It's Apple Plus number 1. Number 2, the trailer looks pretty good. Roberta Ferguson, known her from speaking of Mission Impossible. The last couple of Mission Impossibles, post-apocalyptic show, futuristic, I guess, society on the ground, and they're trying to discover what happened outside.
Yes, this is a mystery where it's already way in the future. We don't know how they got there. They've lost memory of what happened, what events have transpired, and they're trying to, I guess, rediscover the world outside in a sense. Great books. I read these three
Oh,
books,
okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
and so very familiar with the source material and the storytelling behind it.
Ooh.
It started as a collection of short stories and expanded from there, and it gave us
So your
this
expectations are
one,
going to
which
be
is
higher in mine, that's for sure.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This first season of the first book, subsequent books go back
Okay.
and
Oh,
flashback and then flash
I
forward.
got you.
So,
Okay.
like I said, the books were very written very interesting
Okay. Yeah,
in an interesting
yeah,
manner.
I'm looking forward to this. This looks
Yeah,
very interesting. So hopefully
it
that
does.
works out.
It does.
So that's off. That's for next week. For the following week, we got on the 10th. We got Class of '09, Hulu.
Hulu.
This one here looks interesting. It's I'm not sure it's based off anything, but we have following three FBI agents who graduate, and I guess they go to three different timelines of them as they progress through. That I think takes place in the future. Well, one is one of them down the road, and there's AI
Yes, because this is
involvement and all
class.
that.
This is called Class of '09,
Okay.
right? So, so I think so. Class of '09 is when they're rookies, right? Rookie
Right.
agents, and I think it does two subsequent time jumps here, and you see in the posters where they look young, middle age, and somewhat old or
Yeah.
older.
I think Kate
So
Mara is the big name on this one in terms of who stars in it. Yeah.
yes, correct.
But that
Hmm.
looks. I
Yeah.
haven't seen a trailer, but yeah. I mean, and Hulu again. Hulu's pretty consistent. Um, and then on the 10th, a couple weeks from now, is Queen Cleopatra, sorry, on Netflix. The docu series, of course,
That's correct.
on
Docudrama, yes.
Cleopatra. Duh. So there's been a dozen of
A
these,
little bit of
and maybe
controversy.
I'm
No,
undercutting it.
well, yeah.
So another
Well,
one.
there've been some on Netflix that I've enjoyed. You know,
Sure.
the couple on the Ottoman Empire
Yeah.
and Vlad, the Impaler, which I really enjoyed. Because it's a docudrama, right? They're giving it a documentary style, but with dramatized
Right.
scenes
Of
to
course. Right.
enhance the story, right,
Yeah.
and the
So
history behind it.
interested. I'll definitely check it out. Again, Netflix documentaries is usually a safe bet more times than not.
There has been some controversy because for whatever reason, I'm not sure what the controversy is to be quite honest with you, but I think because they cast a black actor as Cleopatra, I guess someone's making a brouhaha about that. I whatever.
Whatever.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't white. Tell you right now. Look at the part of the world that
you,
this took place.
you mean she didn't look like what's her
It's not.
name
It's
by
not
in the
Elizabeth
old
Taylor.
movie Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah,
Are you
let's be
serious?
honest. So whatever. I mean, just kicking reality. It's history. It's history. Read on it. So on the same day, the 10th, we got one I'm kind of looking forward to, and that's Muppets Mayhem. That series on Disney Plus. The Muppets. I love me some Muppets. This one focusing on the band Mayhem with those animal and the drum.
Mhm.
Blah, blah. So I guess the band are just getting discovered and trying to get signed by record label and all that and all the zaniness that Muppet shows should have. Looks cool, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we got on Hulu, we got the second season of The Great on the 12th, right? Starring
Mhm. Third season, if I'm not
third season, sorry,
mistaken.
Nicholas Holt, Fanning, one of the Fannings.
Dakota Fanning or Elle
Elle
Fanning?
Fanning,
Elle
there you
Fanning.
go. Kind of period piece show, funny show.
Mhm.
I enjoyed that one.
I'm Catherine the Great,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, I
So,
enjoyed
yeah.
this one. Actually, I jumped on this late after you recommended it.
And as much as they say this is an accurate show, this is all true. It's not.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. Obviously, it's not. But they do a good job on play on that. I guess they make it
Yes.
amusing and interesting, which could be some dry stuff done more
Mhm.
historic like. Um,
Huzzah!
Black Knight. This is on the Netflix on the 12th, which is a couple Fridays from now. Korean show. It piques my interests. Again,
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic world, and I saw part of the trailer, but it seems I guess there's these Black Knights out there. I'm trying to remember.
I kind of like the delivery men of their day,
Right.
delivering goods and stuff
Yeah.
to and
So I
from isolated cities, towns, people,
looks
whatever.
like there's some action kind of stuff, some interesting again
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic stuff. Looking forward
Yeah,
to
it
it.
has a very Mad Max
It does. It has
feel to
yeah,
it.
it has that kind of vibe, right? And it's very dusty, and this is the
Mm-hmm.
vehicles. Yeah, it looks good though. So I'm interested in seeing that for sure. Disney
Hmm.
Plus, we got Creator, new show. 12th, I think, since this Friday as well. Three shows on Friday. This is a show, but I guess takes place way in the future. Family living in the
On the
moon.
moon. Okay. Yeah.
Kids, take a joyride on one of those little moon vehicles and end up somewhere in the moon. I don't know. It didn't catch my attention, but I'll give it a shot. It's Disney Plus, so I don't know. It concerns me. We might get Peter Pan and Wendy for that case. And the last one, Apple Plus. Apple Plus dropping shows left and right. Give us time to breathe in some of these, man. Jesus. City on Fire.
Mhm.
This one seems like a YA kind of show, maybe not. teenagers, a group of friends, one of them goes missing or something. I don't know, along those lines. Am I wrong in that, Chewy?
I mean, I just briefly caught the trailer because I always look at the coming up
Sure.
section on Apple Plus, and so I see these. Like I said, I'll always make notes, and I don't watch all the trailers, but I just want to see the first episode and see if it catches my
Yeah, I
interest.
mean, it's Apple Plus. We'll
Uh,
give it benefit of the doubt.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I know they've been kind of not as consistent as they used to be, but whatever. Who is it?
Mhm.
Even HBO does not, you know, obviously what we spoke this week isn't as consistent as we like it to be. But whatever, we'll give it a shot, no doubt about it.
I mean, it could be Drop of God, which is excellent,
really
dude.
good show. Yeah, I love that third
Or it
episode.
could
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
name any one of these mediocre Apple shows that we see
Liaison
recently.
or
Yeah, Liaison or
whatever.
whatever. Yeah. So who
Tomorrowland or Hello
knows?
Tomorrow, which is whatever. It's fine.
It was
It's
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. Again, it's
Liaison was subpar. I
yeah.
mean,
That
let's
was
just be honest.
that shouldn't
Yeah.
ever been on Apple Plus. I think they're not a
Yeah.
terrible show, but just not up to their standards. But so we'll see. I mean, like I said, hopefully Silo's good. We got a couple shows on there to watch along with Drops of God,
Mhm.
which is really good. You guys should check that out. But that being said, so I'll pack up weeks. We may do one next week. We
Well,
should.
yeah, I do want to.
Oh,
Now I just found this out. I'm not sure if you saw the news. Finally, a great show is coming back on June 29th. Warrior Season
oh yeah, no,
3
I saw
on
it
the
the other day. Yes, yes,
Max.
yes. Warrior.
On the Max. It
Yeah,
is back,
yeah.
baby.
Warrior season 3, and I'll say this now because we're gonna be talking about this obviously in the near future.
Yes. Go back and watch
Even
the
yeah,
first two seasons if you
watch
haven't. Go
yeah
back.
Warrior season 1 and 2. One of my favorite shows. Great action show if you're into martial arts and all that. And it's more than that, but don't be wrong. But that's really the selling
Hmm.
ticket. Phenomenal in terms of the fighting, the choreography, the presentation, the film. Fantastic. It's a really cool show. Of course, taking place in the early 1900s, right?
Yeah, it was a turn of the century
Yeah.
in San Francisco. So obviously, at the dawn of San Francisco, the Chinese immigrants, Irish immigrants, the American, so a lot of different factions into play.
Yeah.
But this is, I think,
All vying for
pre
to keep
1900s.
the power in their own
Yeah,
territory. The Chinese being
I want to say 1880, 1890 was the time frame. The
around there.
type
Yeah,
of, yes,
around there.
it was definitely pre
Yeah.
1900 America, and so there's a lot of things going on. But that's what made this so interesting. And obviously, a lot of this is factually based on true events,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially with the Chinatown and
With
the immigrants coming
with the
in,
labor issue.
and
Yeah, exactly.
the racial and immigration policies and friction at that time. So it's not a group. Also, it brings in the American Indians, brings in the slave issue and blacks at that time. So a lot of different things, living things moving on makes it very interesting. But the action is just
Yeah,
wow! It's
this
just
show's awesome. I
amazing.
can't wait till they drop a trailer.
And
Obviously,
it's been 2 or 3 years since
it's
we've
been a
seen.
while because I think that the show was picked
Yes,
up. It was on Cinemax before HBO took
yes.
over, so it kind of. But they
Hmm.
transitioned that show into HBO or into Max, whatever.
And we weren't sure if it was going to get that would come back because it was in Cinemax. No one saw it. Or it was the most popular show on Cinemax, but how many people had Cinemax? Let's be
Right,
honest.
exactly. It's like
They jumped
maybe
it
30 people
over
had it.
to Max at the very onset of when HBO Max came out, and I caught it. And I was just like so hooked,
Yeah,
so great.
yeah.
But we've been waiting years. We finally got word it was coming back, and now it's obviously, but
Well, now, yeah,
it wasn't picked up
now it's
immediately.
tangible, right?
Yeah.
When you got a date, we know
Yes.
it's here. So yeah, very exciting. We'll definitely talk about that as it comes because it deserves to be talked about. Awesome show.
Hmm.
Again, it's on Max. Warriors season 1 and 2, no doubt about it. We'll get to that later, obviously. But yeah, that being said, Chewy as always, hang in there with the family. I'll be there soon, and we'll probably do a show next week. If not, you guys have plenty to watch, and we'll talk about the good stuff when we come back, reconvene, if you will. Subscribe, like, share. We appreciate it. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys next week in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.